All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about the Detroit Lions. They were riding this nice 3-game heater, and then, Thanksgiving, a very, very winnable football game against all odds, and unfortunately just weren't able to get the job done. Detroit sitting at 4-7 on the season. They're they're probably the healthiest they've been at any point in the entire season. So there's 6 games remaining left on the NFL schedule. Now, I'm not saying Detroit's going to win out, go 10-7, make the playoffs, although we've seen crazier things happen. The schedule is pretty winnable. You got Jacksonville tomorrow. You got the Jets, you have Carolina, you have Chicago, and you have my Green Bay Packers, but there is a Minnesota game sprinkled on in there. I think just kind of what might happen is the Lions win all games except maybe Minnesota or one other, and you just have a really good end to the season. We could sit here and talk about all their losses for like an entire video. 3 points start the season off against Philadelphia, 4 points against Minnesota, 3 points against Seattle, 4 points against Miami, 3 points against Buffalo. If you see the common trend, those are all like Super Bowl caliber football teams. There are 2 bad losses on the entire season, New England and Dallas, and those were in back-to-back weeks. But I think everybody can agree, especially Lions fans, like Detroit's future is extremely bright. We've already gotten a very nice taste of it, specifically in the last month or so, but it's just going to continue even more at a faster and more rapid pace to end this season, in my opinion. So before we get any further into this video, guys, if you enjoy it, hit that like button, hit that sub button. Now, if you want more Lions content, also drop that down below. Lions fans, you guys are absolutely awesome. I miss it. I miss making Lions content. It's been like a week now. So let's try and get this video to 250 likes. That would be absolutely awesome. You guys are, like I said, awesome. Now, at the time of this recording, I got to fly back to Chicago. So at the time of this recording, we don't know if Jameson Williams is going to play. Outside of Jameson and 2 other players, everyone's fully healthy. Everyone's pretty much ready to go, except, excluding IR guys, etc. I am excited to see what this defense can do specifically. Offensively speaking, I pretty much know that these guys can stay in every single football game. I can't believe Jared Goff gets the slack, the discredit across the league. Lions fans, very on board with Jared Goff because he makes the throws he needs to make. He makes the plays he needs to make. Jared Goff is a former first-round pick. First pick of the first round. Like, he's 28 years old. He's in his prime right now. I don't think that Detroit should go, on a first round pick, go out there and draft a rookie, and it seems like most Lions fans agree with that statement. Yeah, maybe get one later on in the draft, 5th, 6th round or something, take a flyer on somebody, but to me, if you go out and you get a rookie QB, like, the winning window it starts next year. I mean, it kind of was this year. If some games had gone a little bit differently, we'd be making a completely different video. But they're 4-7 right now, and the season is going to end, I would imagine, just on the best note of best notes, the highest of high notes. So, to me, you spend next draft just defense, defense, defense. First three rounds, maybe even first 4 rounds, defense, defense, defense. Maybe sprinkle in a running back in there, maybe sprinkle in some offensive line, never hurts, and like I said, sprinkle in a quarterback at the end. But as far as I see it, this offense is fully capable. They're more than capable. Jamal Williams leads the NFL in touchdowns with 13 rushing. This guy, my former cheesehead, right? But Jared Goff, a Super Bowl guy, he has the experience. He has everything you need from your quarterback. So on the season, 17 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. His rating is 93.5. You pair that with a deadly duo. If DeAndre Swift can stay healthy, along with Jamal Williams, that's one deadly duo. Now, I know Swift, his career in Detroit hasn't gone necessarily as I panned out. I thought it would be, a lot more brighter. But that's not saying in 8 games on the season, he's averaging 5.8 yards per rush. Yeah, there are some mistakes in there. There's a fair amount of mistakes in there, which is what makes it so frustrating, because it's like, it's so close. It's within reach, but is it going to, are we going to grab it? DeAndre Swift averaged 5.8 yards per rush, man. Jamal Williams, 13 touchdowns on the season. So you have a deadly running unit. And Amon-Ra St. Brown, wide receiver 1, Jameson Williams, I mean, Jameson is huge, man. He was a stud at Alabama, tore his ACL in the championship game, and you knew going into this season that you're probably not going to have him for most of it. So whether or not he suits up for Jacksonville it just doesn't matter, because at some point in the season, if it's not tomorrow, it'll be next week or the week after that, at some point we'll see Jameson suit up and do the things he does. You know, he had like 1,600 reception yards last year at Bama, like 70, 80 receptions, a bunch of touchdowns, double-digit touchdowns. He had 2 kick returns. That's something also that's just, I feel like it's kind of forgotten about because we're just so far into the season. But Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's a stud. 65 receptions, 716 yards. Josh Reynolds, I like Josh Reynolds a lot. DJ Chark, he's entering free agency, so I look at it, I'm like, all right, Amon is my number 1. I would go definitely Jameson as my number 2 moving forward. Khalif Raymond, Josh Reynolds, maybe get another wide receiver in free agency or whatever, but already their receiving unit is just fine right now. We have the stat here. Detroit, I believe they rate 8th in offense, 25 points a game. So passing yards are 12th, rush yards are 10th. It just boils down to the defense, and a lot of with this defense is inexperience. They're just extremely young. Think of guys like James Houston, who played in his first NFL game last week and sacked Josh Allen, the MVP guy, twice. So the defense is extremely bright. Aiden Hutchinson, Kirby Joseph, like there's so many bright spots on defense. So that's why I'm thinking, and they're probably going to look into free agency a little bit as well. But even if they didn't, and we're just talking draft-wise, if you draft defensive players for the first 3 picks at least, first 3-4 picks, you just kind of continue to fill it out, right? Just continue to fill it out. This is a playoff team next year. Regardless, this is a playoff team next year. But statistically, they're giving up 28.2 points per game on the defensive end, which is completely dead last. But we've seen it improve in the last month or so, specifically first week 38 points given up, fourth week 48 points given up. So that was brutal. But last week 28 against Buffalo. Week before that 18 against a playoff team in the Giants. The Chicago game was a little bit dicey, but they ended up pulling out the victory, gave up 30. And then my cheesehead Aaron Rodgers, my back-to-back MVP, we put up 9 points, and that was the most frustrating game in the entire world. But, with so many family members living in Detroit, with just so much family living in the state of Michigan as well, living in Detroit myself for a little bit, it was not the worst thing in the world. Man, it was so cool because on Thanksgiving, I'm with my family, like my family that's just from Detroit, and, that game, dude, it was a tough loss. It's a tough loss. But national media seems to finally start to realize, which it actually doesn't matter. Who cares about national media, right? But it's cool to people notice that Detroit, that they're drinking the Kool-Aid, right? So Brad Holmes has done a phenomenal job. Dan Campbell, in my opinion, has done a phenomenal job as well. Everybody's done a phenomenal job. So let me know what you guys are thinking about Detroit for the duration of this season. Hit that like button, hit that sub button. As always, if you want more Lion content, show some love down below. I'll see you guys later.